And welcome back to NEDA Eating Disorder Week 2016, Part 2 of Authenticate You. So, I'm going to pick up to where I left off, sort of, but on a new subject. Alright, so things not to say to someone with an eating disorder. Like, seriously. So, anything that mentions or focuses on weight, appearance, or clothes fitting size, like, oh, your clothes are getting baggy, or I see your bones, you're looking kind of thin, and just, or looking pale or something. That basically just focuses on that because it can make the person feel embarrassed, insecure, and just like shamed and guilty. And so, yeah. Also, telling them you look healthy or healthier. I know it may seem like a positive thing, but to people who suffer with eating disorders, it's synonymous with saying you're fat or you gained weight. So I guess we'll try to stay away from that. Next one is what they eat or what they eat and their food and how they eat it. I had a lot of trouble with this because I was always like so annoyed. And you like suggest that, oh, you're too thin, you should go eat a burger or something high caloric to like gain weight, or you should gain weight, and you're telling them this, that they don't look good, they look disgusting or weird, and you point out and bring notice to their rituals and their kind of like weird food combinations. I'm very sure they're aware that what they're doing is ritualized, and it's just, you know, sort of rules in your mind that you sort of have to follow. If it's like separating your food to where it doesn't touch, or which I did, or color coordinating them, and like arranging them by size from biggest to littlest, and cutting them up to really small pieces. And I always like had the weird combinations. My dietitian used to always get on me for that. Or I would just stick with like the same food for a whole month because it was my safe food and I knew how many calories was in it and how to burn it. So, yes, that can be sort of triggering, but yeah. Stigmatizing. This is a big one. It makes it extremely difficult for the person to seek treatment because if you say, oh, that's weird, or why do you even have that or suffer from that, and oh, I can't be around that person, I don't feel comfortable, or you just don't know about eating disorders, so you flat out judge before. Um, Stigmas is still a work in progress to desensitize them. So, slowly and surely, we will hopefully get to where talking about mental illness isn't a dirty word or like forbidden or avoided. Next one is making others feel odd and weird. And like I was saying, it ties in with the stigma, and it makes them feel bad about themselves and shameful, especially by verbalizing how strange they are or why they have to take medicine or why they're acting funny or weird or just their quirks, and just like not wanting to be around them like falls in with stigmatizing, and stigmas are big, and god darn, I hate stigmas, fuck. So that's that. And now we're going to continue on how to prevent stigmas. Yeah, so like I was saying, when you verbalize that you're weird or whatnot, it also makes them feel like they're monsters, or also decreases the chance of them seeking any treatment or help. And I hate when the media like it like shouts and like overly obsesses about like mental illness and sort of puts it in like a dark light or a negative light and with a negative connotation. And it like sometimes they want you to fear someone with a mental illness, like, oh, they're not safe, they're going to flip out any moment, they're dangerous. Especially when it comes to like mass shootings, they're like, oh, it has to be someone who had a mental illness disorder because no one in the right mind would do that. Or this is what people with mental orders do, they go and shoot up schools. Like, I had an experience where I was in high school and someone saw the scars on my arm and we're in PE. And then when we're getting out, she made the comment of, she's going to be the next person to shoot up the school. I wanted to punch her, but I refrained from it. But it's just stupid things like that and stupid, ignorant comments that people make. So it just starts with one person and it could start with you. So, because even though fear sells, it shames as well. So, another one is when to avoid talking about mental illness, or why do they avoid talking about mental illness and whisper it like it's a dirty word. It makes me feel like alone, and so I'm sure it makes other people feel alone because stigma isolates. And then people feel uncomfortable around you, or just like they start acting weird. And when people even talk or bring up mental illness, like the subject is like changed like that, and it's not mentioned, and it's not like you're supposed to talk about it just like religion and politics. It's totally avoided and swept under the rug, and just, oh, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal, and it's not a pressing issue, and it's not important, which I feel is like, it's so angering because a lot of Americans and just people in general suffer from like mental illness disorders, and some are not even getting help, or some don't even know that they suffer from it, and they're just wondering what is wrong with them. And we need to get awareness out, and also early prevention care, to where like if we can prevent them from even going into an eating disorder, or yeah, or just like developing one, then that'd be great. And that's key, because the earlier the intervention, the higher the rate of success in recovery and remission. So, yeah. And so, judging and criticizing person on meds and saying they're crazy. That's so fucked up. It makes others feel guilty. Like, I'm sure they don't want to be on meds or taking meds or having it be regulated. They just want to be, I guess, what you would call a normal, if there's even a normal. And so, possibly causing them yet again to derail and go off their meds just to like be accepted and not feel different and to fit in, which is very dangerous and may cause like major relapses or being a danger to yourself or require hospitalization. So we can just like calm down on the medication. Like, some need it, some don't, and that's totally fine. Some need it to function for just a short amount of time and it's temporary, whereas others, it's a lifelong management, and that's okay, because as long as you're feeling good and you're feeling better and you can actually live your life, then why not? So, not recognizing those who have overcame a mental illness, or allowing them to be role models and be recognized for it. You don't see a lot of role models. Oh my god. You don't see a lot of role models like standing up for mental illness or sharing their stories or helping others. Yeah, we have Demi Lovato for eating disorders, bipolar, and self-harm. And we have a few others that came out about their eating disorders as well. But I know a strong one is just basically Demi Lovato and how she's advocating for like bullying, self-harm, bipolar disorder, her eating disorder that she went through, and just being really open and sharing about it, which I think we should have more role models like that, so people don't feel so ashamed or lose hope, because hope is really all you got, and to even get you through surviving this disease. So I think there should be more, and it should be more recognized. Lastly, and most commonly heard and pisses me off to like the most extreme anger. Like I get to 0 to 100 and oh my god, it's my button. um, just get over it. It'll You'll work it through. You just need to try harder. Um, Stop saying that it's hard to recover from. It's no big deal. You're making this harder than it seems. Just do what you're supposed to do and you'll follow it and you'll be done with. Um, you're seeking attention from everyone and you're being selfish. And by being sick, you're being selfish and trying to seek attention from everyone. Or making things different for the people around you or your family, like you're being a burden on them because you have like certain issues you need to tend to, and that also affects the family. And so that can really just like drop a lot of misconceptions and things that people say who aren't educated. And it pisses me the fuck off because I always hear this and I'm like done. And like, no, you can't just get over it like you're jumping over a bridge. You can't just work through it like you're walking through a freaking door. Like, it takes time. It didn't develop overnight, and it sure as hell is not going to go away overnight. It requires hard work and challenging yourself and being committed to recovery and being focused and keeping your eyes on the steps in front of you so you can meet your goal. And it's a journey and just learning new things about yourself and how to love yourself again and be comfortable in the skin you're in. It's the hardest thing like you can ever imagine. Just sort of trying to build like your worth and your not be so insecure. And like people don't understand like how devastating or how like emotionally draining it is to constantly have a fight in your mind of what you want to eat, if you're going to eat, and what happens if you do eat, and what you're going to do after you eat. And it's, like I said, it's exhausting. And then always counting calories and tracking it. Like, it takes a lot to do the cognitive switch and change like negative behaviors to positive ones and to try to stick with it. I don't know if like the 21-day stick with it thing works, but it's going to require a lot of work and it's so challenging. It's scary. It's frightening. I'm terrified to death. But I know it'll be worth it in the end. Yeah, it's okay to have like fall downs or lapses and fall down or mess up every once in a while. But as long as you don't make your home there, like get up, try again. It's totally okay. Use your support system. Find friends that understand and just really try to reach out. Like more people care than you actually believe and actually think to know, because I always kept it to myself thinking like, oh, no one cares, and plus it's my secret, it's my thing, and there's nothing wrong, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm totally fine because I'm so functional. And oh, it catches up with you real quick. Oh yeah. So just for warning, you think like you're not the one that's going to die or you're invincible or like it happened to her but it's not going to happen to me, or it happened to him or it's not going to happen to me. I'd be very careful with the words you choose because out of nowhere things just start happening, your health starts declining, or organs start shutting down and you're like doing permanent damage. So yeah, I'd be really careful about that and just be supportive of anyone who's trying to recover and just listen if so, because even choosing to go into recovery or want to recover is a hard decision in itself as well. So, how to show support and get involved. So, get screened. I know you may not think that you have an eating disorder or that you can possibly have one, but get screened or have like a loved one or a family or friend get screened too that you may be worried about, because eating disorders does not discriminate for socioeconomical class, for race, for gender, for anything, gay, bi, straight. It doesn't discriminate. And all types of classes and races and cultures get it. And it's just a thing that happens. So it can't be like stereotyped to like Caucasian young women. It's actually more than that, and we're seeing more numbers actually grow. It's sadly growing in men too, and more men are coming forward with their struggles because a lot of them feel ashamed since they think it's like a women's disorder, so they're going to think that they're weak for seeking treatment, or their friends are going to make fun of them. But like I said before, it's really brave for someone to go seek treatment and get recovery. So get screenings, get the results. It only takes 3 minutes, and your results are completely confidential. And you can take the online one or go into your doctor's office. It doesn't hurt to check. Challenge the thin ideal. What I mean by that is that most of us were conditioned to think that if we're thin, it's good, we're accepted, we fit in, and we please people more, and that they won't like, even though it causes insecurity as well. And unfortunately, they let it measure their worth as a person by a number on a scale. So as being conditioned by that thin ideal weight or wanting to reach it is really like messed up our minds and screwed up our perception of what is really the focus and what's really going on, which is just being healthy and everything else. So yes, next one is watch your language. No fat talk. And there's actually a movement or a campaign that says stop fat talk or no fat talk or something like that. I can't remember. But pay attention to how you talk about your weight and how you talk about others' weight and who's around you when you're talking about weight, because it can be trigger, and it's not good for you to like put others people's weights down or to put yourself down with how you weigh. So it may be like a passing thought or comment that you just try to go in the morning, putting your clothes on, and you're like, oh God, I'm fat, like I need to lose some weight, I'm not gonna eat. Or you're just saying like after lunch, I'm like, God, I ate too much, I'm so fat. Like someone next to you could be struggling, or it could be recovered or be in recovery, and you can sort of like trigger them. And even though like you may not have no ideal to know, it's just a good way to practice body positive and just stop beating yourself up and just try to be positive in your mind, which is so hard as I say this because it's what I struggle with. Like, don't knock yourself down. Like, just, even if you have to say it every hour, every day, and even if you have to say it and you don't believe it. But I have affirmations on my wall, my daily affirmations that I say, and slowly and surely I'm believing in some and making progress. So yeah, I think this is the end of this. But yeah, and also with the fat talk, definitely don't do it around children or kids. Like, I see so many people or parents like criticizing them about their weight, and it just makes their skin crawl, and it's just like, no. So yeah, just read and get yourself educated on eating healthy and learning to eat intuitively and just eat for like nutrition and just not for like coping skills or anything else. Like, yeah. So thanks for tuning in for Eating Disorder NEDA Week 2016, and I will see you next time. The next topic will be eating disorder treatment facilities and how they work, how they go, what to expect, what to bring, who's there, like what can you bring, what do you do there, and just sort of like navigating your way through and like how to pick the right one and everything else and what goes on in it. So join me next week. Thanks.